Welcome back to episode 8 of Joga Bonito, where we discuss the sometimes beautiful game of Scottish football. I'm joined to my right by Luke McGuire, Callum Rattray. How are we, boys?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How's yourself?
Thanks, Fraser Godden. Very well. Good to see you, Fraser Godden.
Yes, very good to see you, yeah.
What's going on? You're taking Luke's job in introducing the show. What's happening there?
I think we had people personally message me saying, Fraser, he's useless.
I'm gone.
Absolutely useless. You need to do it. So
Yeah.
it's supply and demand.
You're
really,
welcome. I was happy to send you that message. I thought we needed change desperately. So
Despite the fact that Luke is so beautifully shaved today,
he is. Yeah.
he didn't want. Yeah, we decided to mix it up. So yeah.
Delayed filming again by another hour. Didn't get his haircut this week, but shaved. So
yeah,
it's all worth it.
We're on what?
That was so uncomfortable.
T-shirt number 4 of the afternoon. But
Yes, you finally said. What are you wearing this week, Luke?
I'm wearing a wee Subbuteo number.
It's a beauty.
classic fashion wear.
Vintage.
Subbuteo.
Yes.
I like it though, actually.
That's very smart.
Subbuteo is an all-timer of a game.
Yeah, a wee Italia top.
Yeah, lovely. So
That was hours worth of fun by myself when I was a kid. Setting up Subbuteo, just flicking around the place. Brilliant.
I also had a full. It must have been like 2 foot by 4 foot. Subbuteo pitch. Phenomenal. I had the arena as well.
Yeah.
Things that went up and-
I used to just play by myself. I had
so that
all these fictional games going on in my head. I'd be like, Cesc Fabregas picks up the ball in the middle of the pass, a little slide ball into Alex Song. You know,
Is that who you
obviously had the Arsenal set. I think.
I had the year I had was like Rui Costa at AC Milan, Nesta.
Oh,
that's
just won't forget.
I used to hate when like my team would lose, but I was playing both teams, so I don't know why I didn't just fix it. I'd be like,
Freddie Lundberg
Fabregas gives the ball away to Sammy and Nasri. You know, oh no.
I had Freddie Lundberg. I'm trying to remember who else, but that was I would try and persuade. There was nothing worse. So when my little cousins would come round, I'd be like, "Oh, we'll play Subbuteo," and then they would just they'd flick it and go like that. I'd be like, "Whoa,
Respect the rules.
you're only allowed."
Have you seen like professional championships they do of Subbuteo?
You done a feature for that on a view from the
Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
It's wild. We should get in that.
Honestly, would have loved it.
We should have a game of Subbuteo one week. Is that what the people want to see? I don't know. That's
This table is absolutely spot on
I was thinking.
size for my Subbuteo pitch. I've still got it. So anyway,
Have you
can
still
think
got
about
it?
Yeah, of course. You're joking?
Gotta
Next
get that
week.
out.
I wouldn't sell that for the world, man.
He's even got the kit on.
I'm-
Away.
I'm passing this down the generations,
Love it.
and by passing it down, I will be playing it with them. They're not getting it.
It's like that.
So yeah,
We did say we we're going to react to the football from this weekend, boys. We're all there at Hampden this weekend. We got a lovely pitch together, but that was probably the highlight of the game.
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
it?
it's
in different capacities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, may have
Yeah,
seen Luke McGuire taking in all the action pitch
Some
side,
of us
Yeah,
closer to the pitch than others.
Yes.
completing passes to Kieran Tierney. He was telling us just before we started recording. That's a story.
Yeah,
For the
we-
podcast?
We do need to teach him if he's at the football, what way to look. Callum, don't
Oh.
Yeah. He was filming the fans pretty much the whole time. Don't
we?
know
He's a
why.
fan watcher. This guy, one of them.
Aye. I'd make a good steward.
You
Make a great steward. Yeah,
You
yeah.
would, yeah.
I'm not sure I'd make a very good steward. I'd always be wanting to watch the game.
Oh, I'd be shocking. Yeah.
It was a steward that found I was like trying to film the fans, and he was actually watching the game.
Respect that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And I'm
have
like,
to.
mate, what are you doing?
Watching the game. Unlike you.
I know, unlike me. Yeah. Unlike me for the first half.
you did see some of it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Unfortunately, you saw some of the game.
Yeah.
That
I'm
was
jealous
quite
about.
genuinely one of the worst Scotland performances I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I've been at Hampden for some jobbings. The Belgium game, we lost 4-0
Oh yeah, that friendly.
to
That was
Lukaku.
brutal.
No, it wasn't a friendly. It was
Wait, wasn't that friendly?
Lukaku and De Bruyne in the World
Yeah.
Cup qualifiers, I think.
Oh yeah.
Hampden was
Like,
pretty,
I think it was
pretty
yeah,
empty that day,
Wasn't
wasn't it?
Hazard
It was-
destroyers? I'm sure Hazard.
I thought but
that was bad.
at least that day, like we didn't expect much because the Scotland team was pretty rubbish and the Belgian team was world class. So, like at least we got to watch world class football.
Ukraine.
Nah, I was going to say
Ukraine
that.
was
That
pretty
was
miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even then we were still like we were at least in the game.
Aye, up
With
until,
5 minutes to go.
Up until a certain point, yeah.
But that was that was depressing actually.
Yeah, because we'll come back for a debate later on about Steve Clarke and his future. That's upcoming in this as well, but certainly doesn't fill you with optimism right now, that performance. And Team selection, certain players, do you think we might not be seeing again in a Scotland shirt? All too much? We may well be seeing them. That's maybe the issue, I suppose.
It depends who is in charge. Because, I assume Steve Clarke's going to keep his job. But
Imagine so.
And if he does, then I think we will still see players like... obviously, in fairness to Steve Clarke, Anthony Ralston would ideally not be starting at right back if we had all the players that we have to our disposal. But I think we probably will likely see... Anthony Ralston was fantastic in Greece.
Maybe more the Kenny McLean's. I think people are looking at. Obviously, it's just I think a lot of the issue people had is that I've seen so many people just like making points. I've seen people talk about it online, pundits, wherever it may be, saying, why is he not playing X player? Why is he not doing this? Why is he not putting Ryan Christie in at centre mid? Why is he dropped Lewis Ferguson out of the team? And I'm like, I think people just think he could play like 8 central midfielders in at one point. Now, look, everyone that said these things, they've got a point. But I'm like, what is the bigger point to this?
What's the better picture?
Ryan Christie played on the right wing because he had so many players in the middle of the park. But now I agree with Ryan Christie. I'd rather he was in there than Kenny McLean. I agree with the Ryan Christie one. That's why I brought that up. But then people are like, why is the best... Everyone seems to refer to him as the best central midfielder in Serie A. That's such a common line you see. Yeah. Because he won that award or something. Doesn't mean he's...
he
doesn't mean he is the
season,
best. But where does he fit in then? If you're saying Ryan Christie should be playing centre mid, where does he fit in? Where's Billy Gilmore? Billy Gilmore shouldn't have been getting subbed off from that game in the first place. Billy Gilmore should have been on the pitch the whole time. John McGinn's playing on the wing.
I have my opinions on this, and I actually think there was a much better way to get all these players in the team. Mm-hmm. Someone was going to have to sit on the bench. Yeah. I don't think Kieran Tierney was that player that should have been on the bench.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Steve Clarke is, I've said to you before, I think he's just too reactive. Mm-hmm. And it's common in Scottish football. The fans, we're maybe even guilty of it as well. We're sitting here reacting as if like it's all doom and gloom. They won away in Athens, which was a phenomenal performance. But I think Steve Clarke saw that and thought, I absolutely nailed it. I'm the greatest manager in the world. Everyone looked at that lineup and thought, you're an idiot, why are you starting Hanley and Ralston? And then there were two of the best performers in the team. Yeah. So he thought, I'm so amazing and I'm right and we're going to go and do the same thing again. But it was so glaringly obvious that, they did well and they were really good defensively in the second half, but they were getting battered.
Yeah, they dug it. What was it, Greece 15 shots or something?
18 shots. They had double the XG of Scotland. They had 24 shots in total or something.
Could have been a penalty. It was a close call.
Exactly. They hit the post. Yeah. They were hanging on by the fingernail. So, yes, he did, his tactics were good and suited the game on Thursday night, but he had to. It was so obvious. Lewis Ferguson played well in Greece, but he was playing right wing. Yeah. And he's no pace. John McGinn playing, I think, was he left wing?
Left wing, yeah.
No pace as well. Yeah. It was so obvious that yes, he was right and did well on Thursday, but it had to change for Sunday at home when Kieran Tierney, playing 90 minutes in both games was not a viable option for him because he's not played enough football. But he'd only played 10-15 minutes in Greece. Therefore, Sunday changed the system. It was so obvious to me that we needed width. We didn't have an outlet on either side, either flank. Yeah. So obvious. If they'd just gone three at the back, Kieran Tierney, allowed Andy Robertson and Tony Ralston. I know Ralston doesn't play much at wing back, but allowed them to get further up the park. Karetsas would have then had the issue of Tierney and Robertson to sort of contend with. Instead, he had a scared Robertson to run at, which he was loving. And if you look at any time Scotland score...
Which is kind of crazy to say as well, just for the record. Andy Robertson's not been, for so many years, pretty unfazed by what Lionel Messi's of the world he's been pretty unfazed by. But
that's
that
because...
boy gave him a tough game there.
He's always had... Whenever Andy Robertson plays well for Scotland, he's had support from... Maybe it's even Ryan Christie playing at left wing or John McGinn.
It was insanely high in that first half. Every time Andy Robertson was perched up on the left wing, so it left that gap.
It was always so high, so far forward.
Greece was deadly on the counter attack and in transition. So
it was just, it was so blindingly obvious to me. And I think I like the idea of Lewis Ferguson played really well, but he was limited. He's not got the pace. Ryan Christie has got his VO2 max must be massive, must be 70 because he just runs about like crazy. But again, he is now more a defensive midfielder. So I like the fact that he changed that, but that still for me it had to be a system change, not a personnel change.
Yep.
And then Callum, you took the brunt of my opinions in the second half. But you saw it was so obvious then when we conceded the third goal that 4-4-2 or 4-4 or 4-2-3-1, sorry, wasn't working. It had to go at that point, and he was bringing Kieran Tierney on. I thought, brilliant. We'll go 3 at the back. Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson can get up and down the left hand side, and instead he put Kieran Tierney left wing. Went to have
for 10 minutes.
10
dropped
minutes.
him into left back.
Brought George Hurst on, who I don't think adds anything to the team. He certainly doesn't add more than Che Adams, and I know people slag Che Adams off, but he was taking on 3 or 4 players on his own at times in the first half, and doing well.
Quicker than him as well. He's doing what he can. But
I liked Che in the first half. I thought he barely put a foot wrong. To be honest.
But that's what we were like. He's not given. He gets a real slagging by the Scotland fans because he doesn't score goals, but he's not given the tools to. And that's I actually don't think Che Adams' role in the team is to score goals.
No,
because he sort of brings McTominay, McGinn, Robertson. And it's their late runs into the box that he sort of facilitates with his hold-up play that leads to goals for Scotland, which is why John McGinn scored so many. So I hate this sort of narrative that Che Adams is a bad striker for Scotland because he doesn't score goals.
No, I think he does the dirty work.
He does the dirty work. And if you look at, I think his best performance for Scotland was against Denmark at home. He did score a goal.
Yep.
And then his dirty work in that game was phenomenal. And actually, I think he played really well on Sunday with what he had. But Steve Clarke hit the sort of the reset button, thought, we need to get George Hurst on, who just isn't.
I thought he looked a bit like he was tiring off Che Adams, and I could see why maybe a change was needed. But George Hurst came on, didn't offer much at all. So
there was a few headers here and there, but like
nothing that
not quality.
Tommy Conway looked good.
Yeah, he looked bright. Good to see James Wilson get his debut as well. But both of them, I don't know if they've played all season on the left and the right wing, and they come on and
thrown in at the deep end. Totally
positions are not. And the whole thing as well. We said this obviously at the time as well, and I'm sure a lot of people thought this incredibly how strong Ben Doak is needed in that team. It's kind of incredible how reliant in a short period of time they became on Ben Doak already, where there's just no one that filled in on those wings. I think he played 5 or 6 different players in those wide positions. No one looked very comfortable at all throughout that one game alone, and Ben Doak's obviously one that kind of made that system work. And it was interesting what you said at the start there about him being very reactive, not proactive. I think it's a good point, because I think there definitely was a time where that was needed in the Scotland job. And, sort of where Scotland started off in this Nations League as a team in the C to get promoted to B and get promoted again. And, he's from his own work, he's pushed expectations up. Should Scotland be in a position where they're fighting to compete to stay in the Nations League A? Maybe not. I think they do have the quality overall. But that's not where they were a few years ago, though, when he took over. But it's got to a stage now where quality of players, I think it's definitely stepped up in terms of quality of what they've got at disposal now, and maybe it's where Scotland should be taking games to their opposition a little bit. I don't know if you saw David Martindale. I thought it was really interesting. Start of the season, said that his favourite thing about Livingston getting relegated is that he sets up for games now, taking the game to the opposition. When he was a Premiership manager, every single game plan was, right, how do we stop Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, whoever it's going to be? What do we do to stop them, negate them? Now he's going into games being like, we're going to be on the front foot. This is what we're going to do, and they're going to react to us. Yeah. That's kind of the key difference, and I don't think Steve Clarke is that type of manager that would progress into that when, now that, Billy Gilmore's maturing really well, getting a lot of football. Ferguson's came through on the scene. McTominay, you can list them all off, obviously, but there's a lot of quality that could be used. I think there's so much quality, and I think what Ben Doak has done has shown that. I think it just shows Steve Clarke is too reactive. He's obviously, I think any manager with Ben Doak playing the way he was at the start of the season or back at the end of last year for Scotland, like, it was obvious that there had to be a system where he was going to play. And 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, sorry, rather, or 4-2-3-1 worked because he was that out ball and he won fouls up the park and he would take a player on. Yeah. We didn't have, with him injured and the lack of wide players in attack that we had, that system then
was not the system that Scotland should have been playing. But he obviously looked at the Poland game, he looked at the Croatia game and the Portugal game and thought, well, the system worked then, so it's going to work again against Greece. But we didn't. At that point, we've got Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney was injured back then, or not really playing back then. It's
quite funny. It could have maybe stumbled into it as well because the back three didn't work without Kieran Tierney. And then as soon as Kieran Tierney dropped out, you saw it in the Euros, there was no system to go back on. They weren't prepared to play a back four. Clearly, Ben Doak wasn't fitting in the squad either. So,
but that's what frustrates me so much because I think Steve Clarke has actually done really good work. Yeah. He sort of implemented the three at the back. He sort of experimented a bit with McTominay, but Kieran Tierney, we found a way to get Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson, who maybe not at this moment in time, but certainly have been Scotland's two best players for the past 6 to 8 years. And we've found a way to get them in. And then, but we've also found a way now that when Kieran Tierney is injured, which is quite often, that we can play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or whatever. And it works, but he's not proactive enough to say, right, okay, it worked in the last game, but it's not going to work in this game. He thinks it worked in that game, so I'm going to go with it again. Yeah. And it had to be, to me, it was so obvious from the squad that he picked, and I think a lot of people, we needed width from elsewhere. And in international football, if you don't have pace in the wide areas or in attack, you're not going to do anything. And whilst John McGinn's a world-class player, he's one of the best players in the world.
That term's chucked around too easily. I like him.
I
hear what you're saying.
I hate people that say world class is only like 11 players. I'm like, if you're playing
John McGinn's competition
quarter final of the Champions League, you're a world class player, I think. Okay. But I see what you mean. Okay. Elite player.
He's a world class workhorse.
But like a player like John McGinn, whose level is so high.
He plays in a world class team, definitely.
Yeah. Whilst they've got that level, he's not got the pace, and we saw it so many times on Sunday that there was space to run into. If that was Ben Doak, or even if it was like, say it was Andy Robertson of old at left wing back, or Aaron Hickey at right wing back, they would have ran into that space. Ben Doak would have ran into space, but John McGinn was turning to come inside, and it just made it so easy for Greece to defend.
Just chucking his arse in every single time, which is a useful trick, but. It was like, remember the one down in front of us where he burst into the box and we're like, take him, and he just throws his bum in and then tries to win a penalty and flops down. You're like,
which is great when it works, but sometimes actually he does do it a little bit too much.
Well, not too much.
But sorry, I've gone on a total.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so much to say about this.
We could be here probably do a whole podcast special on this. Fraser, I think we need to go and lock you in a dark room.
It infuriated me. I thought I've not got no coaching. Maybe I'm totally inflating my opinions on this, but it seemed so obvious to us. It seemed so obvious before the games even took place. Yeah. It seemed so obvious in the second half on Thursday, and it seemed so obvious, especially after the third goal went in on Sunday, and Steve Clarke just didn't address it in the way that I thought he should have.
Yeah.
So that's why it pains me to see it, because it was such a big opportunity for us.
No, it definitely was, and it's been dropped, but
yeah,
I guess we'll speak a bit more about Steve Clarke later on, as we said. He's been down in bad places before and came back. Probably the argument should be he shouldn't be in those bad places so often.
I just think it does happen a little bit too often, and it's too little too late. And he did fantastic against Portugal, Croatia and Poland at the end, but it comes along a little bit too late.
So episode 7, you spoke about your absolute love of the international break. What a time of year it is. Championship football goes on. So we're back for some more challenges once again after that segment. You guys looking forward to this?
Yeah, can't wait.
Let's get the energy going, guys.
Woo!
Yeah. Ooh.
All the need of a miracle. What is going on here? I was going for some Calvin Harris.
Look, you just have to join in with it. Can you keep going too? Seen Wolf of Wall Street. I've seen coming to Disney Plus soon. That's our first paid promotion actually of the podcast. Thanks to Disney Plus.
Sponsored by
and the team at the Wolf of Wall Street for sponsoring us.
Oh yeah.
Right, he's got that right. So you guys have a little challenge. I'm gonna give you guys some more trivia to start this one off. Okay, and I want a clean sweep for this. You've got 8 options. You're going to have to fill them in, okay?
Perfect.
So I want you guys to name all 8 SPFL clubs that have got yellow in their badge.
Should we not say yellow?
No, it's got to be a clear yellow. We're taking no amber here.
Right.
This is an amber-free zone. Okay.
Difficult, but we can do this.
Yeah, let's go.
So no Alloa, no Motherwell, no Stenhousemuir, none of that nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
It's got to be yellow.
Yep.
Start us off, guys.
Dumbarton.
Dumbarton for 1. Great.
Straight in there.
Correct. Why have they got an elephant on the badge?
Paley.
Pele the elephant, apparently.
Paley
Yeah.
the elephant.
Yeah.
I don't know actually.
Livingston.
Livingston, yep, that is 2.
Oh, I thought you were asking. You knew the answer to why
No.
they've got
I don't know why Dumbarton have an elephant on them, but I'm all there for it. Livingston, a very yellow club. They love yellow, those guys.
and an Athletic.
That was a shout. That was
And an Athletic, 3.
Phenomenal.
Good pull.
There's 8.
8. There's
There's
8
really
clubs with yellow on their badge, and it can be a very small bit of
Oh,
yellow.
that's an obvious.
There's some obvious ones out there.
East Fife.
East Fife.
solid. Back it.
Shout out Dick Campbell. 4 more.
Oh, I've got one. Dunfermline Athletic.
Dunfermline
They've
Athletic,
got-
very
they
good.
have
Oh, they have every colour under the sun.
I was going to say Dunfermline club with 6 colours on their badge, I believe, at least. Because they've got that nice little colourful bit in the middle.
Yep.
One of the most popular badges in Scottish football, Dunfermline badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite. It's
That's
quite
an
different.
interesting
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Oh, now we're down to the toughies.
You've got 3 more to go here.
Dundee.
No.
There's gold in there.
No.
Come off it.
Nah.
Gold. We're not taking gold around here. I'll do a fact check right
This
now.
is yellow.
Okay.
Oh my.
Cove Rangers.
No.
Is there a splash of yellow in amongst the?
No.
No.
It's like green, red.
Yeah.
Inverness.
Inverness, I don't know how you pulled that one out there, Luke.
I
Very
was
impressive.
thinking yeah.
The yellow on the Inverness badge
Yeah.
is the hand of the bird.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hand.
Wow.
I love my hands on birds.
Jeez.
But all birds
Otherwise,
have
man.
hands, okay? You know what I mean.
Um,
Whatever you call it.
That was
But
such
it's a very subtle little bit of
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
because the bird itself is gold.
that,
What
yeah.
bird is it on the Inverness badge?
Here's one. I've got one over there. Sorry, I've got
I'll
another.
go for it.
Morton.
Good shout. Good
Surely.
shout.
Surely.
Certainly
Green and
this
Morton.
year.
Yeah.
And
Fire.
Very nice. 1 more to go.
oh, I had one
I
in
felt
my.
like I hadn't been pulling my weight, so I needed to
What are you doing with that mic? You're just
Sorry.
praying into it.
give me an
I'm
answer.
thinking, there was one I had in my head there that I thought it's going to be that.
Were you counting that as the gold on the Dundee badge? Nah.
Come on.
Oh, but, how did you find it?
I just looked it up. The badge is usually that, the white.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. That was you're really stretching that.
Ah.
Got 1 more to go.
Partick Thistle.
No.
No.
No yellow in the Partick Thistle badge.
Do you know what the Partick Thistle badge looks like?
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just thinking it changes. It changes a lot, you know.
It's all just black and white, isn't it? Pretty sure. Partick Thistle.
Don't remember.
I have one now. I'm not sure about current, but certainly in the 2008 Scottish Cup final, there was yellow in their badge.
Who is that?
Queen of the South.
No.
Oh, yeah, in the road badge, aye.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
Well, we're doing this for a nostalgia badges. We'll be back with part 2. You guys come up with a trivia quiz of old Scottish badges. I'm talking about current Scottish badges.
No, that's fair enough. I get that. I get that.
Come on, boys. You can do this. 1 more to go. I feel like you're always trying to look.
I'm not.
This guy, he's always looking over the shoulder.
There's not yellow in the Hearts badge, is there?
No.
There's a lot of colours in the Hearts badge, but
Yeah.
not yellow.
Okay. What would it be? Are you just smiling at the wall?
Are we over to the mother?
Oh, I cannot. I had one in my head and I thought there's going to be yellow in that. Let's go Forfar.
No.
No.
Quite a few colours in there, though. They've got like a few little patterns on it.
Go through the luge and that.
You can guys get a hint very soon, don't worry.
No.
Give us a
Oh,
look.
okay. Right.
No, I don't. No,
Sorry.
wait, no. Stranraer.
No. No. You're not just chucking teams out, Luke. You're not going to go through the 42 now, okay?
Yeah, we don't need to. We only need to go through the 35.
35 remaining clubs, yeah. It's not a... like dominating feature of the badge. It's not their club colours. I don't think of this club and think yellow, not for a second. But it's part of the it's part of the badge.
Oh, this is bad. I did have... What was that one I was thinking earlier? I thought there's a splash of yellow in...
It's part of the badge.
Spartans.
Edinburgh City.
No.
That was pretty sure, actually.
Because they have gold on their kit.
Yes.
Honestly, I think I've been robbed of about 5 answers here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I've just looked up to have a look. Because that was the Queen of the South badge 15 years ago. I don't think there's any yellow on the Queen of the South badge.
If you look up the 2008 Queen of the South strip on their badge, there was...
I believe you.
yellow, I think. I'm sure.
Let's not go down too big a tangent here.
Albion Rovers. There we go. I've got it. Nailed it. We're just including all leagues now.
No, they're not in the SPFL. I'm sorry. Edinburgh City is 2 gold.
Oh my.
I'm running out of clubs.
It's a Premiership club.
No.
It's the only Premiership club on the list.
What?
I've ran out of Premiership clubs.
It's the only Premiership club on the list.
St Mirren, obviously. Oh.
St Mirren, yeah, you got there in the end.
Well done.
Well done. That's all 8.
Yeah, they've got obvious yellow on their badge.
Well, it's just not one you massively think about all the time, but it's sort of bang in the middle.
Yeah, but I can see it now in my head.
Actually.
Yeah. It's got like a badge in the middle of the badge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That game would have been easier if we could have seen them all.
That's like
We should think about that for next time.
that's the most stupid thing you could have ever said. Betting would be so much easier if you had the full time score. Yeah.
That was good fun.
Yeah,
Callum.
enjoyed that.
I like it.
Ruby
These
transfer.
innovative ideas you keep coming up with are good.
Thank you very much.
Solid.
Keeps me up at
Have you
night.
got any other innovative ideas?
We do. Should we move on to the next one? What do you want to do next?
Well, I would love to talk about Pele the elephant.
Okay, we'll do that then. Right. So this next challenge, the inspiration for this one was more linear than the other one. That was just random. That just came out of nowhere. That just popped into my head. Yeah. This one came from being at Partick Thistle on Friday night. Stood there, pitch side. I hear a scream to my right. I'm like, what on earth is going on over there? Turn around. A woman, she's in the air, getting spun around by Kingsley. I'm like, Kingsley, mate, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, you can't be doing that, Kingsley.
Kingsley, I don't know. It was a joke. It was a laughy thing. They laughed after. She looked like she didn't want to be getting spun around by Kingsley at that exact second. She seemed fine after. I'm not making any accusations at Kingsley here, or whoever's inside of Kingsley. Yeah. Whatever poor soul has to dress up as Kingsley every week. But I was like, wow, Kingsley, I would not mess with that guy. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
I'm not sure. I would always advise that if you are going to pick up a random woman, that you do ask for consent first. So if Kingsley's not done that, then...
Does Kingsley speak? I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you think Kingsley would sound like if Kingsley spoke?
A bit sharp, I think.
Would have a voice, do you think?
No.
Do you think he'd have a voice?
Yes, but...
Well, what is he? I guess...
He's a jag.
Jags don't really have sounds. Thistles don't really have sounds, do they?
What is Kingsley? The sun?
Sort of, yeah, I don't know.
Splash of paint.
He's just a weirdo.
Boy,
he's just a creep.
I've got a photo of a Kingsley, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that. Are you okay? So anyway, this was inspired by seeing Kingsley do this. Okay?
Yes.
Yep. It's going to be a mascot-inspired feature, this one.
Phenomenal.
And it's going to be, if we put Scottish mascots in a fight, who would win?
Yeah.
Love this.
The question that everyone's thinking about. Serious journalism. This is why me and Fraser have degrees in journalism. At this exact moment. And it's going to be slightly March Madness inspired. We've got a bracket.
Oh, yes.
March Madness at the moment. So we've got a 1 to 8 seed. The seeding has been done by an anonymous source. That doesn't need to be anonymous. Thanks, Grace, great colleague, helping out with this. Gave it the best 8 candidates for this.
Yeah, and we worked hard.
We did.
Sunday.
We went, yes, this is what we did in the pub after the Scotland game. We decided the 8 we were going to do. There were some real close calls.
I really wish I was at the pub now.
Yeah, well, we didn't have your ID, so...
I missed you, mate.
All right, cheers.
We've got 8 brilliant names in here, and they're in a beautiful bracket, and we're going to go through until we get a winner. Yeah. So we're going to obviously start with the 1 seed against the 8 seed. So the 1 seed is Steelman of Motherwell against number 8 seed Baxter the Bridie of Forfar Athletic. Have you seen both of these guys, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay.
We love an underdog story.
We do love an underdog story. Could this be one? Steelman, he's some sort of superhero. He's got massive shin pads on.
I know, the fact he's got shin pads on is... anyone who has to wear shin pads to fight is not really one to be back.
But he is fighting a form of pastry.
Yeah, but to what temperature is the pastry being cooked?
This is true.
Because I've bitten into some warm bridies before.
And it just melts in your mouth.
No, real bun.
It takes a layer off my
really?
tongue. So
yeah.
I'm back in Baxter here.
And the Steel Man.
Are you guys going for a Cinderella story here in the first round?
No, I think if we're come on, we have to be sensible here. And I love Baxter, and I would be backing Baxter.
I'd back Baxter as well, but
to the end of time. But the Steel Man's gonna rip.
I'm just not sure fighting's his thing.
Yeah.
Nah, come on now.
There's a real bun.
Have you seen the muscles on the Steel Man?
Yeah, he is.
No, but then
They are
5% body fat on that guy.
I'm going to throw in my logistics here, right?
Yeah.
Seed always turns up.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Look at the Miami Heat against the Milwaukee Bucks last year.
This has got nothing to do with Baxter the Bride.
Get Baxter in there.
Yeah, I think. Listen, Baxter will put up a valiant fight.
So we put in final votes in. I think me and Fraser are going for Steel Man. I'm sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Luke. Yeah.
We do love a Cinderella story around here.
Oh, jeez.
Baxter the Bride would put up a tough fight. Real burn threat does exist. There's nothing worse than a burnt tongue.
Yeah,
You're telling me. I'm on this mic. I've got burnt these fingers here on the grill, cooking sausages. I know all about this. Steel Man.
Man's been grilled.
Steel Man, does he advance to the second round then?
I think he has to. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not what the fans want. It's not the story that everyone wants. But
It's not the Cinderella story.
ultimately, it's Novak Djokovic winning. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
So we've got the 4 seed against the 5 seed here. The 4 seed is Kingsley, and the 5 seed is Ollie the Oyster Catcher of East Kilbride. Who's a scary looking dude.
Yeah, he's a scary looking dude, and yeah, I wouldn't want his beak in my face.
Me neither. I've seen this guy going around K Park. He's always looks quite menacing. He's on the prowl, sort of does little laps of it and that, you know.
Yeah.
But again,
Kingsley for the win.
Kingsley, that thing, whatever that is, has a look in his eye that he would absolutely tear you to shreds, and he wouldn't have any remorse.
He'd enjoy it, 100%.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
He's made for this, like cage fighting, bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I could see Kingsley doing it.
He would do some, below the belt. Kingsley wins hands down.
So why is this freak just smiling back at me in the ring?
Yeah.
You know, Ollie the Oyster Catcher's just there, pecking away.
Yeah.
Would have no chance.
Yeah,
Listen, I think Ollie would put up a good fight, but Kingsley's different gravy.
Sorry, Ollie.
He's got that killer instinct that only a splat of yellow paint can have.
Kingsley to win by knockout.
Kingsley in 4.
Right, to the other side of the bracket, we've got Captain Conker, the 3 seed of Kilmarnock, up against Pele the Elephant of Dumbarton.
Grace, I'm sorry to question your seedings, but Captain Conker, 3rd seed, Kingsley 4.
He's a superhero.
True, that is.
That's kind of what superheroes are.
And squirrels are quite vicious little things.
I like squirrels. I saw a squirrel eat chalk once. A stick of chalk. I chased it away. I was like, stop eating that. It's chalk. What the hell are you doing? That's horrible. It was actually blue as well. Maybe that's how Captain Conker was born.
What colour is Captain Conker?
Blue.
Is he blue?
Yeah, he's Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
I thought Captain Conker was a red squirrel.
Oh, sorry, the squirrel. Oh no, he's covered in blue. Sorry, he is a red squirrel. Yeah,
red squirrel. Well,
sorry,
if it was a grey squirrel, I would back Captain Conker. But red squirrels are nice. They are a bit more. They're lovable.
Pele the elephant.
Pele the elephant. You think elephants? They can do a lot of damage with their trunk and their Pele the elephant. For me,
Pele the elephant packed his trunk and he's into the next round.
I mean, he's a hardy spirit. Being the Dumbarton mascot, you have to be on that pitch. You know, he's from a tough background, Pele. Whilst Captain Conker, he looks like he's had
from the favelas of Rio de Janeiro to Dumbarton. That's
to the Dumbarton Rock.
To the Dumbarton Rock. That's quite a journey he's been on in life. So
Captain Conker looks like he'd be the biggest reject at Marvel. You know, like someone looks like they're just dressed up for Comic Con as this guy.
Too nice a guy, I think, Captain Conker.
Yeah, I would never back him. Pele, he can swing that trunk and cause some real damage.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're seeing an upset here. The 6 seed advance.
I think so.
Well done, Pele.
I think so.
And the final matchup is the 2nd seed, Sammy the Tammy, against the 7th seed, Harry the Hoopo. Harry the Hoopo. That's his name, isn't it?
Harry the Hoopo is.
He's
a scary looking.
Who's Harry the Hoopo?
Yeah. What's a polite way to say? Like, he looks like he's got like a bit of a screw loose, but he'd have like big man strength.
Yeah.
Trying to find the polite way of saying that. You know,
Well,
probably
you
know the
don't have
term.
that lack of that few teeth if you've not been a scrapper too.
Now, there's real law to this. I was really hoping the matchups would take us from Harry the Hoopo, not Harry the Hippo. Don't be silly. Look at him. He's got one tooth.
He was a scary looking guy.
I was really hoping the seedings would match him up against Kingsley because they've got history. They've got prior.
Well, we don't know yet. It might.
Well, he's matched up against Sammy the Tammy. I was hoping it'd be a nice first round matchup. It's a famous derby of rivalry because Harry the Hoopo's head has gone missing. And there's a Daily Record article that says Kingsley had nothing to do with it. He shut down his involvement in it.
Yeah.
But I think Kingsley was all over that.
Yeah, look at Kingsley's face. Just that's a guy that likes to keep hippos' heads.
Yeah.
In his room.
I'm the only mascot in the lower leagues of Glasgow football. That's probably what he's thinking. He took that hippo's head.
The best of the rest. That's
but,
what he's thinking.
Yeah, he looks like a lovable guy, Harry. But Sammy the Tammy, he's well-oiled, regimented.
Sammy the Tammy, he's been in far too many a scrap.
He turns up and he's prepared.
He turns up in tanks.
Well, yeah. If you have the key to a tank in a fight, there's only one winner.
And Sammy the Tammy, he's just... Yeah, he's too coordinated, planned, malicious, I think is the word for Sammy the Tammy.
But he's also got a soft side, but I still can't see it.
Does he? I've never seen this side of Sammy the Tammy.
He always loves to give me birthday cards and birthday checks to...
Oh, that's what they all do.
BBC, yes, he's always got that wee soft edge.
Oh, it's all about Sammy the Tammy, isn't it? Sammy the Tammy wants to pop up on BBC, doesn't he? Oh, get me on the screen, you know? It's not about the kids. Yeah. It's about Sammy the Tammy.
It's all about him.
It's all about him. Harry the Hooper, I'm sorry, I don't think he's got much chance in this one.
No, he doesn't. Especially, he doesn't actually exist at this point in time. We don't know where he is. So
where's your head at?
He's not going to...
Where's your head, John? Where's your head, John?
So the two seeds...
Sorry.
Oh, where's your head? Sammy the Tammy, the 2 seed advances.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I agree.
Into the semi-finals, right. This is like a night of Premier League darts. This is the way the matchups work here.
Although, yeah, Pele the elephant isn't the most intimidating looking elephant in the world.
But neither is Captain Conker.
Yeah.
So the first matchup of the second round is going to be the 1 seed Steelman against the 4th seeded Kingsley.
Come on, Kingsley.
We mentioned Kingsley's just got this mean side to him that he would demolish anything in his way. Steelman.
Yeah, I think there's only one winner here.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Maybe Kingsley's in poor form, and that's why he's dropped to 4th seed. But
my thing about Steelman is I think he's only worked out his glamour muscles.
Yeah,
you've seen him. I don't think that's real strength.
Yeah, all show.
Do you think he's doing cardio? That guy?
No, he doesn't go to the gym. It's all protein.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the problem is, he does. He's too lean. Yeah, he needs a bit more.
I'm not sure. Do you think the random drug testing has been done on Steelman?
Yeah.
I'd be saying to whoever's working at Motherwell, check out that guy. Those glamour muscles.
If the shin guards are taken off by Kingsley in an act of sort of below the belt, then
there are no rules to these fights. He can do anything with those shin guards.
Yeah, the Steelman will struggle because I don't think he's ever been kicked before.
Yeah, his shins would fall apart.
Yeah, I don't, and Kingsley has.
My main issue with Steelman is he's got a painted on smile. That guy's always smiling at all times. He thinks everything's happy, funny. Look at Kingsley. That's toughness. Yeah. Mental, physical toughness. Yeah. And
there's only one winner, Callum.
Kingsley advances to the final.
Man out his misery, yeah.
Right, the number 1 seed from our list of fools.
Yeah.
Kingsley to the final. And will he be up against the 6 seed, Pele the Elephant, or the 2 seed, Sammy the Tammy?
I think here there's only one winner as well.
Yeah.
Pele the Elephant.
Done well to get to the next round.
He did well.
Really well.
It was a Cinderella story.
Yeah, but...
He defeated a superhero with his trunk.
The least intimidating elephant I think I've ever seen. And Sammy the Tammy's just, as we say, just get that grit and that malicious edge to him that Pele just doesn't have.
He's got that nasty streak. Pele the Elephant, he's a lover.
Yeah,
Pele the Elephant.
Definitely.
Only fights to defend the Rock and nothing else.
Yeah, Castle Rock.
But Sammy Tammy likes to take down his enemies with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
It's not bad. It's not clever. So
Sammy the Tammy advances to the final.
That is true.
Feels like quite a good time to tell my story about Pele the Elephant as well. When I was at Wraith Rovers against Dumbarton, I was in the away end, And Pele the elephant's sort of doing his thing pre-game. I'm like, what's it looked a bit odd, just the way it was happening. And then a guy gets walked onto the pitch. I'm like, right, interesting this is. So they're standing there in front of the away end, and the guy, like, I don't know if he was like, it kind of looked like you'd imagine he was on a stag do, but he obviously wasn't. It was that kind of thing when they bring a guy out on the pitch. Weird. And then these people walk up with a massive banner and roll it out, and it's covered in bananas. The banner, like bananas all over it, and it's got words on it. And then suddenly, the mascot takes the Pele the elephant takes her head off, and it's a woman inside, and she gets down on one knee and asks the guy to marry her, which is like, look, it's 2025. Oh, this wasn't 20. This was 2021. This was. I get, the woman can ask the guy to marry them if they want to, but it's still, maybe a bit of a societal thing people look at.
In front of a football crowd,
yes, it's a bit of a societal niche still at this point. But in front of a football crowd, of all places to do it, is where you're going to get a bit of reaction. Also, when you're dressed as a massive fluffy elephant and you've got a sign that's being unfurled with bananas all over it, says, "Will you marry me?" The worst thing about it is they did it in front of the away end as well.
That's bananas.
How long have you waited to say that for?
Tons, man.
Did it in front of the away end, which was just like, I remember watching this and being like, is this like a dream? Is this actually... I didn't think I'd turn up at the Dumbarton Stadium and see a wedding proposal from Pele the elephant to a guy. So, some way to do it.
Yeah, that is some way to do it.
Creative, though.
Are elephants and bananas synonymous with each other? Is that a thing?
I've got no clue.
See if it was in one
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
The whole thing was very confusing. So we've got a final match up here. This is the final of dreams here, I think. Kingsley against Sammy the Tammy.
Yeah.
Right, let's make some arguments here. Make some arguments.
But I think, again, as I said before, I'm shocked that Kingsley was as low as 4 seed. I think Kingsley's number one. I think Kingsley's been places, seen things, done things that other people couldn't even comprehend.
Strikes fear into children.
Yeah, 100%. He's just got that deep-rooted, horrible nature, nasty nature that Sammy the Tammy can try and play up to the crowds, and that's fine. You can go and get his tank, but the tank's not deep-rooted inside him. That's a wee prop. And if it's a bare knuckle fight, Kingsley's winning.
Sammy the Tammy's been around for a long time, though. I'll tell you, he's street smart. Kingsley's fresh on the scene. Yep. Fresh-faced kid turned up.
Yep.
Thinks he's all big time, going around lifting up women.
I think he is big time though.
You think he's big time?
Yeah. In terms of a nasty bare knuckle scrap.
Sammy the Tammy, whenever he comes near a Rafe Rovers away end, you hear the worst abuse you can imagine hold out at that guy. I tell you, he is hated, but he's rattled people. He's got under their skin. So it's a close fight, this.
I'm going to say
Sammy the Tammy has a tank, and he's not afraid to use it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say Kingsley in 7.
Well, if it was a game of basketball, I mean, it would be a close matchup, this. But Sammy, he's got other props. He's pulled out over time as well, He's been probed by the police, Sammy the Tammy.
Yeah, he has actually.
Yeah. After the Fife derby, that's some serious stuff here. So, should we do a vote for this last one then?
Yes.
Yep.
I think it would be really close. This one would go down to the very end. But
down to the wire.
Because of his experience and his street smarts, I'm going to just about give my vote to Sammy.
Whoa.
You're giving it to Sammy.
Just about.
Interesting. I'm sticking by my guns. Kingsley for sure.
Luke.
Kingsley.
So Kingsley comes all the way to the top to win this battle. Kingsley would be the fighting champion of Scottish mascots. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
I believe so.
I mean, imagine if you just turned down an alleyway and Kingsley was standing there.
No, I'd be terrified.
You would be.
I'd run the other way. Imagine there was another Kingsley at the other end.
Yeah, there was no way.
This is stuff of nightmares right now.
That is.
Like, it's the look on his eyes, the look on his face. He's just, he's ready for chaos.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So Kingsley, well done.
What do they win?
March Madness bracket. Kingsley comes out as the winner.
Yep. Next season, Kingsley will be up to first seed, I think.
Yeah.
Seems.
Could well be. I mean, Steelman is a big, strong fighter. I could see why. Captain Conquer, but fell early. So real interesting debates. Let us know what mascots you want to hear about next. We could do another one of these because there's so many great mascots.
Yeah.
Wally the Warrior didn't even make it in.
Wally the Warrior, actually.
Devastated by that.
Yeah.
Rory Rover, he could handle himself. Pandemonium, wow. Yeah. What mascots? Falk got a mascot?
Fergus.
Is it just a guy?
The Fox.
Fergus the Fox. Right.
It's not striking fear into me.
Rangers.
Broxy Bear.
Lana Wolf. No, I mean Broxy Bear. Sorry. Got mixed up there for a second. Sorry.
Wrong mascot.
Wrong mascot. Yeah. Oh, that's a different type of fight. Yeah, we'll be back.
Yes, we will.
Part 2. That was very exciting. We've got one more challenge to do, and we're gonna unfortunately come back to a bit more seriousness and sadness now.
Yeah.
Luke, you're going to be hosting this.
I'm so ready for this. So I was cut off earlier in my passionate rant, and I've been.
You're now doing it at the time.
So finally, yes, let's get it off my chest.
Will you open this up for us, please?
Yes. It's debate time. It's debate club. Welcome along, gents.
Thank you
very much. Yes.
So today we're going to be debating Steve Clarke's future. Should he still be in a job? That's the question.
That's the question. So, who's arguing what side?
I am going to argue that Steve Clarke should move on from his position as Scotland manager.
Okay, so you argue he should. So you argue he should go, and I'll argue that he should stay.
Yep.
How long have we got?
You've got 20 seconds each, fellas, to argue your point.
Who's going first?
Rock, paper, scissors, please.
Your moderator.
No, you choose. You're the moderator.
We need stronger leadership than this.
Okay.
Really.
Fraser.
Okay.
Right. So, and Luke's going to come back at the end and decide the winner.
Yes.
Okay.
Will we have opportunities to rebut?
Yes.
Good.
No, that's 20 seconds. Got to be quick here,
yeah.
huh?
Ready? Begin.
Steve Clarke has been Scotland's best and greatest manager in recent times, and he has taken us to great heights. However, I do not think that he can take us any further with the players that we have at our disposal. He's too reactive, not proactive enough, and I think there's managers out there that will get a tune out of the world-class quality that Scotland have across the team.
That is loud.
Yeah.
Fraser, you just used half the time describing why Steve Clarke is the best Scotland manager. Right, is it my turn?
Yes. You read the trial.
Mm-hmm. Results, obviously, for Scotland have been quite mixed. That Greece game couldn't have gone much worse. However, don't want to be too reaction to that. Who would come in and do a better job if you could name names? I don't think there's anyone that's that much better than you'd say Steve Clarke. He's done well with the rest of the campaign, obviously, beforehand. And if you're not going to give him at least one more shot for World Cup qualification, then I think that's really unfair. No.
Do we need to have such an aggressive... Oh, actually, no, we do. That's a good point.
That wakes me up in the morning.
Yeah.
That's very loud, that alarm, yeah.
How long do we have to rebut? This is weak leadership, look.
I'm going to say an additional 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Rebuttals. So, can I ask him a question? He's just got to answer it, maybe.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so my rebuttal. All right. You've said it there. He's been Scotland's most successful manager for a long time. Why does he not deserve at least one more opportunity?
Because he's had more opportunities. I think the Euros in 2024, he had a chance. Had he taken Scotland further, or at least performed better, then yes. The Nations League, he did well, but ultimately it was too little too late and crumbled at home to Greece.
Interesting.
My rebuttal? It's not necessarily a question to you, Callum, but you mentioned in your debate that you said, who's going to step in? Who's going to do better? There's no names at the forefront of our mind. I think there are. There's opportunities. The manager of Greece was a Serbian. And for example, Russell Martin, I know he didn't have the greatest start to the season for Southampton, but he's a progressive manager, played for Scotland, plays good football, and would get Scotland playing on the front foot with possession-based football. I think it would be a change from Steve Clarke. Steve Clarke's built a solid base. Russell Martin can take us forward in attack.
I think Russell Martin's kamikaze football can stay where it is. I think it's too risky. He's not done enough at the top level of the game to prove to me that he'd be a definite shout for it. Maybe if David Moyes was still about, I'd say that's a name that's definitely earned it, definitely earned the right to do it. Steve Clarke's built a culture, sort of a trust throughout that team, and I think someone like Russell Martin would be such a different direction taken. It might be just a bit too big of a risk with a huge qualifying campaign coming up.
The culture is fantastic, and I'll give you that. Brilliant. But I did see on the pitch the other day there was serious frustration and serious arguments going on between some of the players, and I think some of the players now might just be getting frustrated with some of the old guard, Kenny McLean, for example, Ryan Christie and Kenny McLean were going at each other hammer and tong after the third goal. And I think potentially you might start to see, without change, without progression, the culture might begin to break down ever so slightly.
That's our battles. Do we get a closing statement?
Yes, one closing statement from each of you, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds for it.
10 seconds.
10
Yes.
seconds.
Give me a second to prepare. Jeez, 10 seconds. That's quick.
10 seconds.
Feeling the pressure here.
I'm going to let Callum go first.
This doesn't actually happen in a court of law, does it? We should say Fraser's actually a lawyer, so you should be really good at this. This is exactly what you're built for.
You ready, Callum?
No. Give me a second. All right, yeah, I'll give my closing statement. So Steve Clarke, he's definitely had lows in his time as Scotland manager. Unfortunately, there's been a few too many of them, but every single time he has been knocked down, he has came back and he's built on that. Last week, you'd be saying a completely different thing to you would be now.
Time.
10 seconds is very quick.
I know, I didn't realise how quick it would be. Yep, Fraser, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Steve Clarke's built a great culture, winning mentality in Scotland, but he's just taken it too far. Somebody needs to come in and get the best out of a golden generation for Scottish football in the last 30 years.
That's so loud.
Yeah.
Do you always have it that loud?
Yeah, it wakes me up in the morning.
Well, I'm sure it does, yeah. Right, Luke, you're back in.
I'm back in.
As moderator, judge, and leader in this
Very
debate.
good points from the both of you. Let's just say that was excellent. Loved it, and I enjoyed listening to both your points. But I do need to pick a winner here. So
Just remember, look, now we know you have your opinion on this yourself, but we're marking the debate, not your personal opinions.
I know.
Just in case.
And I'm actually was a big fan of Fraser's points. So I think Fraser was going to be my winner today.
Oh my goodness.
Off
Off camera, it was suggested
I know,
that you would disagree with that. But
yeah. But I liked your points, Fraser. And you had points to back up with managers you would bring in. The point you made about the Greek manager being Serbian, I like that a lot. I never knew that it was Serbian.
I think he's Serbian.
Yeah, actually I looked it up the other day. So yeah, Fraser, you're my winner.
Thank you very much, Callum.
Steve Clarke should be Scotland manager because the Greece manager's Serbian. What nonsense.
He was the Panathinaikos manager, I believe, and
Really?
was successful with them. So I think I heard that in commentary.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
So
Well played.
listen, I don't wish Steve Clarke's downfall. I think he's brilliant. I do actually like him.
But you think he's down and fallen?
I do. I do. I think he's just one too many times now. I've left Hampden being disappointed and confused. Czech Republic in Euro 2020, Hungary, Euro 2024, and Greece, Nations League playoff.
Yeah.
It's just one too many times where Scotland have underperformed, and
That Ukraine game as well.
Ukraine as well. Yeah. How many times? How many more opportunities can we allow him to take us close, but just ultimately fail to deliver at the crucial moment? We need someone that's
I hear what
going
you're
to take us that one step further.
What is that one step further? Getting to the round of 16 or something?
Yeah, 100%.
No.
Scotland should have been getting to the round of 16 in Euro 2024, and we should have performed better. That we had the least number of shots in the tournament, I think, or one of.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's not a Scotland team that should be.
I think, yeah. I was
performing
trying to say, like, my point was, I've had like a bit longer at the end there, was like, I think that what the weird thing is about it is that everyone's praising him and it's like he's the best thing ever, or like the team, or maybe it's the team's the best thing ever, like when they're getting results against Portugal and winning away to Poland and Croatia.
Win at Spain.
And then suddenly, literally, and then beat Greece 1-0 away from home, and then suddenly a week later, it's like the end of the world. Whilst I agree, it was nowhere near good enough, and like I wouldn't be my actual real opinion. I wouldn't be like shocked and appalled if he was like dismissed as the Scotland manager. Now I wouldn't be, but like it's just so like it's not quite fickle, but it does get quite.
No, and I do agree.
Switch.
And Scottish football fans are terrible for that. But I do think, like I've seen, he's done absolutely fantastic work, and Scotland wouldn't be where they are now without him. But I do think that whilst he did brilliantly against Portugal, Croatia, and Poland, I think Ben Doak was a significant plaster over some cracks, and I think take Ben Doak out of the situation, which obviously you take a almost world class talent out of any
Yeah.
team, they're going to look worse. But he was devoid of ideas on how to approach the games without
World class tag again, eh?
Ben Doak.
Championship winger. No, but at the same time, he would have played Ben Doak if he was fit and available.
Yeah.
Like that's not
Of
his
course,
fault.
but
So,
it's over reliant. A good manager would be able to say, right, look, yes, we're missing him, but we need to adjust our system
yeah,
to accommodate the fact that we have other players, but he was resting on his laurels from the end of last year. So
I think the point of it, I was just saying, I think he's deserved one more shot, World Cup qualifying. And it would feel like a nice natural time for him to move on. Then.
I think
a bit more smooth, a bit more steady for the camp
Yeah.
because they seem to back him a lot, you know.
Yeah.
For the most part, there was a lot of frustration the other night, for sure.
Yeah.
Here's a point for you, right? Ben Doak, his release clause is 20 million, right? The 17-year-old boy that scored for Greece,
Kritzas.
that's the one, 40 million.
But he's shown like Bendo's fantastic, but this kid Kritzas looks like he could. Bendo can go to a top club. Kritzas can go to the
Sky's the limit.
And quality as well. He's showed it the other day as well.
Bendo doesn't quite have that. So whilst he's a phenomenal player, Kritzas looks like he's Real, Barca, Man City.
That finish was just pinpoint.
Yeah,
because Bendo's not scored for Scotland, that kind of thing. Goals from that will come, but like that's probably the difference between like a real raw, like incredibly talented, like young player like that who's playing out of skin like that as level, and someone that is got a real culture, like unbelievable.
But I do think it's not your point, Callum, that he deserves one more chance. I was totally based on the last few games, and if he had shown in the last two games, even if Scotland had got relegated, if he'd been sorry, I'll stop talking soon. If he'd been relegated, but put up a fight or shown a little bit of intuition to sort of change the system when needed, then I'd be like, totally, Steve Clarke, take us forward. But seeing the way that he sort of decimated the 11 on 50 minutes and had Tommy Conway, George Hurst and James Wilson playing in a front three when we were only 2 goals down in the tie at that point.
The next goal could have changed
and it just wasn't, it was baffling to me. And I think no urge. I don't know what it was. Him and Carver were obviously on the touchline discussing what changes to make, and they've just made every change was wrong. Even when they brought the right player on, it was in the wrong position. Tommy Conway actually did really well when he came on, but he was at left wing. He should have been on instead of George Hurst. Kieran Tierney should have been on at left centre back and played with a bit more width. Billy Gilmore should never have been taken off the pitch. He is the exact kind of player you need if you're wanting to up the tempo. And we totally killed the tempo taking him off. And that was enough for me to say that I just don't know. We're going to come up against this Greece team again 2 more times. Denmark look like they're maybe getting back to their old ways. I just don't know if Steve Clarke...
Well, Denmark should be worried then, because Steve Clarke's got their number.
I felt for James Wilson.
I felt for him as well. Even if he'd gone on, he needed to have put him on with Anthony Ralston at right back, George Hurst on his second cap at centre forward, and Tommy Conway at left, to take out a player like someone like Billy Gilmore who's able to bounce that ball into James Wilson. If James Wilson's surrounded by Ryan Christie and all that, more senior players, more experienced players, get James Wilson on and allow him to run it.
And play him in that pinnacle striker role.
Totally, but to stick him on in an unfamiliar role with a Scotland team that actually haven't really played together at that point, it was a completely mismatched Scotland team where 5 subs had been made and a lot of Andy Robertson had then taken off. It was just baffling. You think,
he's one of your more senior players.
What was he putting James Wilson on for? Like, was it just so he could get his cap, or was it because he genuinely thought that putting him on at right wing, Tommy Conway left wing, and George Hurst through the middle was going to change the flow of the game? It was so baffling to me that I've gone quite extreme now in thinking that hopefully it's a one-off, but he had the whole of the second half in Greece and a full 90 minutes on Sunday to make what I thought were quite obvious changes, and he didn't. So yeah, I'm worried now. But hopefully it might just he might look back. He said he's going to take a look at himself, and if he does, and he sees what the problems were, I do think it's not awful. I would be happy to see him stay, but I think there's a better alternative. So
take a look at yourself, Steve Clark. Yeah, that's the takeaway from what Fraser said. Take a look at yourself, son.
Sorry, ran over.
Right, that's been some rant, and that's some way to finish us off. I think the fun challenge segment is over, and Fraser's off to his dark room for a few hours.
Go get a cold towel or something, some ice.
Yeah,
on my forehead.
Get you in the ring with Kingsley for a few rounds. Take it out.
I would destroy him now. Just pure aggression going through my body.
Okay. You'll be on our next mascots list then. The Joga Bonito mascot. Right. Well, it's been a pleasure then. So Luke, you're off to America next week. We hope you have a fantastic time. Well, this week, sorry.
Go, well, you send back a letter from America.
It's gonna be missing some. Are you gonna be keeping up to track with all the Scottish football stuff when you're off there gallivanting?
Oh, of course, yes.
In California.
Come on, Seattle.
It's not California.
That'll be. I know. It's not California. It's the same coast.
LA Galaxy, away.
I tell you, my favourite American soccer. I'd say soccer there, just to clarify.
Yeah.
American soccer thing is. Have you seen Minnesota United at the end of the game sing Wonderwall?
No.
It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
And after all.
Yeah. It's probably like you're my
wonder wall.
You're my wonder wall. So, yeah, United.
They're beginning to get it. I think they are beginning to get it, but they're just a little bit.
I was at a Minnesota United game, you see, and it was really impressive, but it was also hilarious. So I was like singing at the start. It's Wonderwall. It's a good tune, like you enjoy hearing it in times like that. Then I had to just stop taking the true Americanness of it because it wasn't the most American thing I've ever seen. So Americans, eh?
Yeah.
What are they like?
Can't live with them.
Can't live without them, eh?
Yeah, something like that.
I was about to say the same. That's wild.
I'm mad.
I was just gonna say can't live with them. Full stop. But right, that's been another episode of Joga Bonito.
It's been a long one actually. That's going to be a tough edit for you.
Wow, I know. I've got a lot of
2 hours.
A lot of ranting to take out of there.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Always is.
now a way to check the. Sorry, actually.
Off to check the Scotland score.
6-1.
6-1. Scotland on 21s have lost 6-1. Blimey heck, right.
Jeez.
Bring Finlay Pollock home. Bring him home.
Burn him home.
Bring the troops home. Right.
Don't go changing fellas.
Joga Bonito.
Finito.
Smooth. Don't go changing, eh?